Hello. So today we're talking about sales pipeline. My name is Mary Sue Dahill of Work Smarter Digital, and I've asked, oh, I should do this hand. I've asked Kelly Peck of Sales UpRising to be my guest and share her expertise as well as a sales expert.
Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here. Mary Sue, as always, I enjoy all of our conversations, both sales and pipelines and anything CRM that we're working on together. So thanks for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. So I have been in the Sales Uprising Mastermind for just over. I've been in the mastermind for a year, and then I moved up to their accountability group, which I also love. And of course, it took me a really long time because I'm thick-headed to start following their best practices. And what's crazy is I have a CRM and I sell a CRM, and one of the most underutilized tools in the system is the sales pipeline. And it's super easy to use, and I'll show you it a little later. But once I started using it, I can't tell you how much it changed the way that I was managing my own sales. So that's why I thought, let's get on here and talk about sales pipelines. What are they, why they're important, and how you actually use it. And not only was I just in Sales Uprising's mastermind, Kelly and Katie are my clients. So I could actually see how they were using the sales pipeline. And it was really eye-opening. So Kelly, why don't you share a little bit about what a sales pipeline really is?
Sure. So sales pipeline can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And sometimes we tend to overcomplicate it and go, I don't have a pipeline, or I'm not talking to anybody, or I'm not landing, so I'm not doing anything. I'm doing all the different things, but nothing's having an ebb and a flow. And really, a sales pipeline is going out and physically using different types of activities to where your people are hanging out, which is considered a marketing piece. When we go out and prospect, when we go out and network, when we go and have conversations with people and get into conversations of, oh, this actually might be a great opportunity for me to be able to collaborate with someone, or this is definitely a person I can help with the services that I offer, and I'm looking to continue the conversation. And that's how they go into your pipeline as a prospect or a funnel, whichever term you like. Funnel, pipeline, it's the same thing. It really, truly is. And then when you are prospecting, you're asking them questions to qualify them. So it's not just like, what is the project, or when are you looking to have this delivered? It's physically asking your potential prospect questions that they might be struggling with to qualify them. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, when are you looking to book these services? What challenges are you facing? Have you ever had a CRM? Do you struggle with setting up sales funnels? Do you have a contact list? All of those different things, right? When we're talking about CRMs or whatever your offers are, it's physically getting down to the root of the problem of what's keeping up people at night and how you can serve them, right? So it's qualifying them. And then once you've qualified them, it's how you're going to get in front of them by different types of touches. It might be a discovery call. It may be a sales call. It may be inviting them to an event you're going to. It may be a collaboration that you think they're a good fit for another person. It might be a potential client for them. There's all different types of touches. You have to normally touch a person anywhere from 8 to 12 times. And that can be through all different types of things. Our clients immediately think, oh my God, Kelly and Katie want me to pick up the phone, which the phone is an amazing tool, you all. It's just putting it into the
I haven't gotten there yet.
It's an amazing repertoire of things that you can automate like a funnel, like a nurture email, as well as calling them and going, hey, what's going on? Or I met you at a networking event. I would love to continue the conversation. Like, let's get on a one-to-one. Let's have a first date, right? It's the courting process. So then you've qualified them. Now it's, how are you going to get in front of them? Is it a call? Is it a Zoom call? Is it a meet? Might be cocktails, lunch, whatever that is, where you can ask them more questions and really dive into where they need help. And then it's presenting your offers and closing and then delivering all your goodness to them. So within a pipeline, you're going to have, let's just say you have 10 people in your pipeline from a number standpoint. And you may have 2 in the qualify process. You may have 2 in the call process. You may have 4 in, you've presented your offers, you've sent them their contract, you're in the follow-up stage, and then you may be closing 2 people. So again, you have all these people in different phases of your pipeline. It's just how you are working your own system to move them forward in the process.
Yeah.
And moving them forward in the process may just be touching base with them, or it may be, hey, I'm going to this awesome networking event. Do you want to go? Or, hey, you're a really great referral source for me. Do you have any people that need my help? So again, that pushes this person through your pipeline. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah, so I'm going to dumb that down into a sales pipeline is just a visual representation of your sales prospect conversations and where they are in their process. And as you're saying it, I think for me, I felt like, oh, it's, once they schedule the sales call, which could be a good beginning. And then if they become a client, so it was 2 steps and there was nothing in between there. And I think that's what I have really learned over this time working with Sales UpRising, as well as just, seeing how people operate. And I have started using invitations to events and things also as a way to move that know, like, and trust. Like, to me, marketing is more about awareness and bringing people in, kind of that magnet into your business. But tracking in that sales pipeline is more the more personal know, like, and trust development. And for me, I think as an automation person, I over focus on automation to the point where it is autopilot. And that's where I feel like I was kind of failing, is it was totally on autopilot. And there was no personal touch in there really, unless, they happened to schedule a meeting with me, they came to an event, something like that. So what I've shifted to is from what I'm calling autopilot to automated, where the sales pipeline for me is reminding me to reach out to people personally, and just make a personal connection through whatever tool I have at my disposal at that time. Come to a networking event. What about this cool event that I'm putting on? Would you like to come? Just asking a question, sharing a blog that I think that they might find useful. So all of those things are,
Yeah. And I think, because we've talked about this a lot, sales is literally just, it is a conversation to see if they're your person. And if they're your person, can you help them? And if you can, amazing. Where I think sometimes we get stuck on, oh my gosh, I haven't closed, or nobody's saying yes to me. I'm in the world of no right now. Which no is not a bad thing. It's actually a really good thing. They're doing you a favor by telling you no, so you can go out and have the time to find the right person. And I think it's a mind shift, right, Mary Sue? Like, I love that you just said that. Like, I needed to know and do things that literally carried along the conversation of how I can help them. And your zone of genius, because your zone of genius is automation, like you are an automation expert. So it's also using that geekiness and how you want to love on people, which I love, to be able to go, hey, I thought of this, and being top of mind because you can help them. Like, Mary Sue's got my back. And that's That's really half of it. And automation is hugely, hugely important. So it's not a time suck for you, but automation is very blind.
Yes,
You'll get
yeah, it
instant
can't.
gratification from it.
Yeah. So, um, so the other thing to me with the sales pipeline is just the tracking of it. So, why is sales tracking important, Kelly? I think you alluded to it with your description of a sales pipeline.
So tracking is how you look at your data. Uh, and most still tend to look at the data. Hopefully, you're looking at the data from a weekly basis, monthly basis. So, what we do is some of you who are old school like me, back in like the early 2000s, before there were CRMs, we used to have sales people would have what was called a recipe box. It looked just like a recipe box and it had little tabs that would have the months. And then there would be, I liked color coded index cards because I'm a color code freak. And it would have the prospect's name, like where I met them, what, how we could help them, and where they were in our sales pipeline. And we would write on the card, and then on the back of the card put like follow up, send email, send article, whatever that was, and then we would move them down the pipeline. That so, but with the CRM through Work Smarter Digital, it does that piece for you, and it's very gratifying to literally take a recipe card
Mm-hmm.
with
And
a
move it
tag
along.
on it, or in your smart list, and being able to move that person through your pipeline. Another way of tracking is literally setting up tasks for yourself, which is hugely, hugely important because we get into the day to day of it, whether you're selling, you're delivering to your client, you're whatever you're doing in the day. But you still need to be reminded, because let's face it, we can't remember all the things that we need to do, right? So a good way to track it is setting up tasks for yourself. Also, contacts is a super sexy place to start, where you're literally getting all of your information from that client. You're putting notes in, you're literally going, I'm going to follow up with this person in the notes, and then you're creating a task for yourself, because we love in the CRM that we can look down the dashboard and go, oh, I have all of my activities here today that I've created for myself that I don't even have to think about. I just need to do those types of things. So tracking is hugely important. It's also making sure that you're physically taking the calendar time to go in and look at your contacts, put the notes in, task, and then put the opportunity in if they're ready for that piece, that recipe card per se.
Yes. Well, and I think for me, it's like measure what matters.
Yep.
If sales matters to you, then you should be tracking who is in your sales pipeline, where they are in the process, and what your next step is. Because it is nice to go to, I mean, I use the tasks as well. It is nice to just, when I have time available, that's where I go and I just work the next one, instead of feeling like, oh my God, how am I getting my next client? I don't know. Well,
Yep.
I already thought about that, and it's in the task.
Well, and it's gratifying to also, when we think, because the feelings aren't the facts, when we're like, I have nobody in my sales pipeline, and then you physically are working the system and you're like, oh, I actually have a lot of follow-up to do. This is
Yes,
super
exactly.
exciting. I have a lot of people who need my help. Now, how am I going to have those conversations with them in order to get them to the next step of saying yes
Yes.
quicker, so you can solve the pain and you get to do what you're destined to do and deliver to them? It's all a really amazing, exciting thing.
And I would say the sales activities like that, they are usually not things that can take 2 seconds or something, because you do have to be a little creative on, okay, so this was my last conversation. This is where we're headed. What would be a good nudge for this individual person? So, yeah, it does take more time, but it is very gratifying to me. So I know you use the Work Smarter CRM to track your sales, which you and Katie started I think, the beginning of this year.
Yeah, so for us being salespeople, like that's our jam, amongst other things that we do for our clients and within the business, we really got super focused on what tools do we have and what tools do we need to be using to, one, make it easier for us, and we have this amazing robust tool and we're not taking it into more of an advantage to it, right? We were doing a lot of really cool things in the CRM, but at the same time, like, how could we use it for our advantage to physically work the pieces to make it easier for ourselves to get more time back in our day and be super laser focused on pushing those big rocks that we talk about all the time and making time to set up those pieces for us in opportunities, really dive into our contacts because they're raving fans of ours, just like everybody has a contact list, and going, okay, and really strategizing about it because a lot of people love the strategy behind it. It's also taking that piece and taking the time to do the strategy, but then putting the strategy and moving the steps forward to get you to where you need to go instead of just going, I'm just going to stay in strategy all day long. But
Yeah.
the system is super robust and we've used a lot of cool things that make us really excited to go in and look at our data.
I know, and I have started using the lead value, like what my typical client spend is on my CRM. So I put that value on a prospect that hits a certain point, and then I can really be like, ooh, like I want to talk to them because that makes a big difference in my business if they purchase. So it helps to just reinforce action, I feel like. So
Yes.
it's been very helpful. So let's take a look at, okay. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. Yes, here's this one. All right, can you see my opportunities pipeline?
Yes.
Okay. So this is super simplistic, but this is in the Work Smarter CRM. And one of the things I did for myself, and I'm sure you did too, Kelly, is I have like a referral. When somebody sends me a referral, what I used to do is I would respond to the email and then I would cross my fingers, hope to die that they would respond back. And if they didn't, then they were lost to the wind. So
Yep.
now what I do is I put them into my referral opportunity, and it's really simple. If they're already, I'll put in Kelly. We'll just put in a fake information. And I can tag them. I can put their phone number, their company, and then, they're a new referral, and I'm making myself the owner. So,
Yeah. And the other piece that we really love within that recipe card that you just created is the opportunity source.
oh
One,
yes, I
you can
forgot
put,
to put that in there.
so the opportunity source, like if somebody sends us a referral, we'll put in referral from this person. Or when we have an event and they sign up for an event, and we've qualified them, we'll put what event they came to. And if they have gotten our brochure or if they're looking to come on as a client and they've already qualified themselves as a client, we'll put dollar values in there too, because the dollar value I also think is super important, because sometimes it's like I don't have anybody landing, but seeing the potential behind the dollar value of what your low hanging fruit are can be super fun and gratifying all at the same time. Because, I mean, let's face it, you're out to make a profit, you're out to have gross revenue, you're out to grow. Delivering is super important and retaining clients is super important as well. But those pieces we love too, a part of setting those up in your opportunities. So we
Yes.
can thank people. if they referred us to another person. That's hugely important for us.
Yeah. And yes, and what so I added referral and then I added amount. So it's all kind of sitting on this little card so I can see it as it moves through. And so for Kelly, I can also add a task. And I
Yeah,
can
which is
say,
super fun.
I already sent her a response. So I'm going to say follow up to referral and assign it to myself again and give it a date. So we'll say Thursday. I'll go ahead and create that. And then I'll get a reminder on that date to reach out to Kelly again if I haven't heard back from her. And then I can also mark it off as completed here. So if
Yeah,
she
which is super
responded,
fun.
yeah. And so then, I've invited her to schedule, so she's here. And then now this is where automations can help you. If you do have a qualifying like application or anything, you can customize how many stages are in here as you want. But you can also automate that this card moves. So when Kelly schedules a appointment with me, it could automatically move here. So I'm not literally having to move the card every single time, but it's a combination. And then I can come in here and add notes about the conversation.
The other cool thing I love about Task too is when you put a date on it, you can see it on the dashboard if you scroll down, but it also emails you the task as
Yes.
a reminder too, which I absolutely love. I'm like, oh yeah, I did put that in for that particular day. I need to do that. Again, it's one more thing that it's like, oh, I need to do that tomorrow. I will totally take care of that. But it's also putting calendar time on your calendar because, like, for example, I had a client that just landed last week and I had not, they were in our CRM, they were in our contact list, but I had not created an opportunity for them yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I went in and created an opportunity. I had notes. I went into contacts, put all the note sections in, and then I put the dollar value. So it also shows on your dashboard and it's being allocated in your system
Yeah.
because it's hugely important to see where your people are coming from, how they landed, how long it took them to land. That's why I love being able to move the cards around, which is super fun.
Yes. And then when you like, let's say Kelly became a client, I can actually put her into my one category. Which right now it's only showing open, but oops, I need to move her to my new client. So I can see that I'm one, which also updates information on the dashboard. So this is very simple to set up. It literally is just coming in here and typing in your stages. And then I already showed you how to create the opportunity card itself is super simple. And then tracking, coming in here and reviewing and saying, okay, Mark Winter, I need to follow up with him again to schedule. And very simple. So I'm going to stop sharing here. So hopefully that was helpful. I think the sales tracking or sales pipeline and tracking are key to reaching your sales goals. If you feel like you don't have control of your sales, that is exactly how you gain control. So,
Yeah,
and I am a control freak.
really. I think most entrepreneurs and business owners are control freaks, possibly. We like to have our hands in all the things, and sometimes we're wearing all the hats. What I would inspire people who are listening to this session is if you haven't started, it's okay. Don't kick yourself in the butt. There's always a time and a place to start. And it's literally just allocating the timing on your calendar and physically working through it because this is a piece that will move the needle for you with setting up this type of system. And it's always fun to see that you probably have a lot more people that you're talking to than you haven't realized as well. So
Yes,
that's
that's
always
true.
fun to see too.
Well, and like I meet people and in my head I'm like they're going to be a future client of mine. So I got to put them into my sales tracking. They don't have to be
Yep.
like super active, but at some point I just know.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, if you have more questions about sales pipe, like how do you just do your sales? How do you niche yourself? Kelly and Sales Uprising are a great resource. And then if you are looking for tools to help you with your managing your sales and marketing, please contact me at Work Smarter Digital. I'd love to chat with you and show you how easy it is to use the sales pipeline and other features in the software. Any closing thoughts, Kelly?
Thank you for having me. I always love talking about the CRM as entrepreneurs. It's amazing the things that we learned that we never thought that we would need to know how to do. Like I know how to talk about triggers, and I know how to talk about automation now, and I know how those things work. I can tell you if you're thinking about getting a CRM or putting that into a piece for you, Mary Sue is absolutely incredible. She will walk you through it. Like all things automation are her jam. And when you become a client based upon what services that you pick from her, she's with you every step of the way. So when you're on fire because you sent out an email with the wrong link on it, you can email her that you're on fire. She can fix it for you. It's one way she solves the pain. And that happened to us a couple of weeks ago. Happened to
Yeah.
me. But again, automation is huge. CRMs are a very vital tool for your success. And Mary Sue is amazing. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. I speak nothing but the truth wholeheartedly. Like I love always diving into the CRM and seeing what the opportunities and the capabilities of how we can move our business forward at Sales Uprising. So thanks for having me. I really
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you.
Well, thank you for joining us and let us know if you have any questions and absolutely reach out. So have a great rest of your day. Thank you,
All right.
Kelly.
Thank you. See ya.